Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone. My mother was meticulous about her research. If we can find her notes, there might be some hints in there. I had no idea her laboratory even existed. She had an alchemy set up in her drawing room, but nothing that even comes close to what's here. Looking at the equipment and materials, it looks like she was trying to advance her necromancy. I don't know. Certainly not longevity. Kind of a waste of time for a vampire. Not that I ever saw. My mother had a bit of a thing for magical constructs. Not what you're thinking. There's not a whole... You've already seen my father's obsession. My mother's not a whole lot better, but... My father... No. What about you? What were your parents like? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up a bad memory. Right behind you. Keep searching for her note. That's... I guess... We kind of have to go way back, to the very beginning. Do you know where vampirism came from? The first vampire came from Molag Bal. She... was not a willing subject, but she was still the first. Molag Bal is a powerful Daedric lord, and his will is made reality. For those willing to subjugate themselves, he will still bestow the gift, but they must be powerful in their own right before earning his trust. The ceremony was... degrading. Let's not revisit that. But we all took part in it. Not really wholesome family activity, but I guess it's something you do when you give yourselves to a Daedric lord. Well, you've met most of us. My father's not and it all ended with me being locked underground for who knows how long. It's definitely been a bad thing, on the whole. A cure? Why even think of it that way? I can't think of any reason I'd want to lose this gift. Especially... It may have driven my family apart, but I'm still here, and I'm alive. I won't give this up. I remember she used to keep a small journal. See if you can dig it up. Any luck yet? You did? Let me see them. I only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems, that the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn. The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive powers of their own in return. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself. That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn. A handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal, a good bit of purified void salts. Oh, damn it. We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place. Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind of portals can be gruesome. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. Oh, definitely. Mother would have plenty of those materials in her laboratory. You just need to find them. Having trouble finding those ingredients? Having trouble finding those ingredients? Get the ingredients in that vessel and let me know when you're ready. Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood. Of course. What is it? I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the castle. She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost. Possibly. I guess even a vampire mother is still a mother. She worried about me, about all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really went over the edge. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't... Are we ready then? All right, here goes. alright? That looked painful. Now that I think about it, I should have expected that. Sorry. It's hard to describe. The soul cairn is... well, hungry, for lack of a better word. It's trying to take your life essence as payment. There might be, but I don't think you're going to like it. Vampires aren't counted among the living. I could probably go through there without a problem. Not your first choice, I guess? Maybe. We could just pay the toll another way. It wants a soul, so we give it a soul. Yours. My mother taught me a trick or two. I could partially soul trap you and offer that gem to the ideal masters. It might be enough to satisfy them. It would make you a bit weaker when we travel through the soul cairn, but we might be able to fix that once we're inside. Maybe. I'm sorry. I wish I knew a better way, something that would be easier for you. Just know that whatever path you choose, I won't think any less of you. Sometimes things just have to be done. I know that better than anybody. Have you made up your mind? Are you sure? I'm willing to do it, but you need to think it through. You'll remain mortal, but you'll find yourself weakened within the soul cairn. I know this is difficult for you. I hope you trust me. I'd never do anything that could hurt you. Thank you. Let's not waste any more. I promise to make this as painless as possible. Hold still. Let's go. My mother must be waiting on the other side of that thing.
Stay away from the crystals, or you may find yourself becoming one of us.
Is there no end to this nightmare?
One moment I'm raising a sword against that necromancer, the next moment I found myself here. What happened?
Where'd you come from?
What a horrible place. You must help me find my Arvak. He doesn't deserve to be in a place like this. Arvak, my horse. We came to this horrible place together. We were attacked by monsters, so I told him to run. Please, he's such a loyal creature, and he's been running for so long. You have to save him. A place like this will change you. Arvak! Arvak! Where are you? Arvak, please come back! Come back!
The air, the ground, this is all wrong.
One and done.
You saved him! His soul is free, I can feel it! He's such a loyal beast. Here, I'll teach you how to call him to you. He'll help you get around this wretched place. But I'm sure he'd be much happier someplace sunnier. Goodbye, hero. Take good care of Arvak for me. Such a good horse.
Mother!
Megan. It can't be. Serana?
Is it really you? I can't believe it. How do we get inside? We have to talk.
Serana, what are you doing here? Where's your father?
He doesn't know we're here. I don't have time to explain.
I must have failed. Harkon's found a way to decipher the prophecy, hasn't he?
No, you've got it all wrong. We're here to stop him. To make everything right.
Wait a moment. You've brought a stranger here? Have you lost your mind?
No, you don't...
You, come forward. I would speak with you. So how has it come to pass that a vampire hunter is in the company of my daughter? It pains me to think you'd travel with Serana under the guise of her protector in an effort to hunt me down. Coming from one who murders vampires as a trade, I find it hard to believe your intentions are noble. Serana has sacrificed everything to prevent Harkon from completing the prophecy. I would have expected her to explain that to you. You think I'd have the audacity to place my own daughter in that tomb for the protection of her Elder Scroll alone? The scrolls are merely a means to an end. The key to the tyranny of the sun is Serana herself. When I fled Castle Volkihar, I fled with 2 Elder Scrolls. The scroll I presume you found with Serana speaks of Ariel and his arcane weapon, Ariel's bow. The second scroll declares that the blood of Cold Harbor's daughter will blind the eye of the dragon. Like myself, Serana was a human once. We were devout followers of Lord Molig Bal. Tradition dictates the females be offered to Molig Bal on his summoning day. Few survive the ordeal. Those that do emerge as a pure-blooded vampire. We call such confluences the Daughters of Cold Harbor. Now you're beginning to see why I wanted to protect Serana, and why I've kept the other Elder Scroll as far from her as possible. If Harkon obtained Ariel's bow, and Serana's blood was used to taint the weapon, the tyranny of the sun would be complete. In his eyes, she'd be dying for the good of all vampires. And how exactly do you plan on stopping him? If you believe that, then you're a bigger fool than I originally suspected. Don't you think I weighed that option before I enacted my plans? You care nothing for Serana, or our plight. Whether or not you've become one of us in order to survive the Soul Cairn, you're still a vampire hunter at heart. You're here because we're abominations in your mind. Evil creatures that need to be destroyed. Serana, this stranger aligns himself with those that would hunt you down and slay you like an animal. Yet I should entrust you to him.
This stranger has done more for me in the brief time I've known him than you've done in centuries.
How dare you? I gave up everything I cared about to protect you from that fanatic you call a father.
Yes, he's a fanatic. He's changed. But he's still my father. Why can't you understand how that makes me feel?
Oh, Serana, if you'd only open your eyes. The moment your father discovers your role in the prophecy, that he needs your blood, you'll be in terrible danger.
So to protect me, you decided to shut me away from everything I cared about. You never asked me if hiding me in that tomb was the best course of action. You just expected me to follow you blindly. Both of you were obsessed with your own paths. Your motivations might have been different, but in the end, I'm still just a pawn to you two. I want us to be a family again. But I don't know if we can ever have that. Maybe we don't deserve that kind of happiness. Maybe it isn't for us. But we have to stop him, before he goes too far. And to do that, we need the Elder Scroll.
I'm sorry, Serana. I didn't know. I didn't see. I've allowed my hatred of your father to estrange us for too long. Forgive me. If you want the Elder Scroll, it's yours. Your intentions are still somewhat unclear to me. But for Serana's sake, I'll assist you in any way that I can. Yes, I've kept it safely secured here ever since I was imprisoned. Fortunately, you're in a position to breach the barrier that surrounds these ruins. You need to locate the tallest of the rocky spires that surround these ruins. At their bases, the barrier's energy is being drawn from unfortunate souls that have been exiled here. Destroy the keepers that are tending them, and it should bring the barrier down. One more word of warning. There's a dragon that calls itself Durnevere roaming the cairn. Be wary of him. The Ideal Masters have charged him with overseeing the Keepers, and will undoubtedly intervene if you're perceived as a threat. As you've been traveling in the Soul Cairn, your body has become attuned to it. Let's just say a tiny part of you rubbed off on it, and in its place, a bit of the Soul Cairn filled the void. You should find no difficulty using the portal any longer. Harkon's vision is a world plunged in eternal darkness, where the vampire can flourish, and never again fear the tyranny of the sun. What he fails to realize is how much attention would be called to our kind if the prophecy came to fruition. If eternal night fell, there are many who wouldn't stand for it. They would raise armies in attempts to return things to normal. The order of the day would be our destruction, until every last vampire was hunted down and eliminated. I do. It's how the vampire has survived for millennia, and the only way we can continue to survive in the future. When I entered the Soul Cairn, I had intended to strike a bargain with the Ideal Masters, the custodians of this place. I requested refuge in the Soul Cairn, and in exchange, I would provide the Ideal Masters the souls that they craved. If I had foreseen the value they placed on my own soul, I would never have come here. The Ideal Masters unleashed their Keepers and sent them to destroy me. Fortunately, I was able to hold them at bay and retreat into these ruins. Unfortunately, yes. Since the Keepers weren't able to claim my soul, they had their minions construct a barrier that I'd never be able to breach. Time has very little meaning to me. Consequently, it has little meaning to the Ideal Masters as well. I suppose you could call this the ultimate waiting game, each watching the other to see which will give in. I know they're mystic entities. Well, some necromancers believe they are the crystalline structure. I believe there's more to it than... I think they transcend what we perceive as a physical form. Perhaps they were once corporeal beings, but they've obviously reached a point where they no longer require a tangible presence. Conduits, through which the Ideal Masters speak to their underlings and feed on their victims. The Ideal Masters' weakness is their insatiable hunger for pure souls. It's the reason for the Soul Cairn's existence, and the only leverage a necromancer has when bargaining with them. The ability to summon powerful undead guardians, as one would conjure an Atronak or Daedra. However, the majority of necromancers that are foolish enough to enter into a bargain with the Ideal Masters wind up here as harvested souls.
Just kill those keeper things and get back to the port.
What do you... How does anyone expect me to... If I hadn't lost all of the pages, I wouldn't... Very well. I am Chip. Some call me... I can't say that I'm surprised by your answer. A book? Surely you've heard of The Rise of... Maybe you should leave the writing to an expert. Terrible. I was in the midst of writing the second volume. That damn Dramon and his minions. They didn't even... Well, I assume so. Next thing I knew, I arrived here. My what? Wait. That means... No. All these wasted months. Has it been years? I don't even... No, my work will never see the light of day. Perhaps... I can't leave. In order to write the second volume, when I was tossed in here, there were 10 more. Find them for me, please. I beg you. Well, that's a ridiculous question. Has it been? Well, it started without a septum on the throne of the end. All I heard is this meant that we were... Well, I can only assume the gates have been... I had just moved from... I settled in the city of Kaval. Indeed, it was a cadre. I took it upon myself to join. The reason I'm standing in... I never knew what became of... Ah, yes. Say Jim the Eradicator. Yes, I'm speaking of the Cliff Racer. They used to crisscross the skies over more. After I was freed from prison, I decided to turn my... It became quickly apparent that the... Indeed I was. The people of Morrowind were so grateful to have the roads safer again, they took to calling me. That was a dark time in my life. I did a lot of things I ended up regretting. Maybe that's why I worked so hard to redeem myself once I was freed. I murdered others for money. And before you think I belong, I was simply an addict. I was... What I didn't know is exact. He got to my target first. Walked right into a trap. They tried me for murder. Threw me on a... Gave me a lot of time to think. That's for sure. Any luck finding my pages yet? Now, where was I? Having the adoration of thousands. No, wait. I couldn't. The adoration Over half the pages are missing. Keep trying.
did you come from? Back to the prison. I'm glad you're here. I don't think I could be doing this.
Only a single spire remains. Be careful. I'm almost certain the final keeper will be prepared for your safety. you managed to destroy all 3 keepers? Very impressive. Yes. Please follow me. Keep watch for Durnevere. With the prison's barrier down, he's almost certain to investigate.
Here's something. Where'd you come from? I'm not gonna die like this. Tough day for you.
Forgive my astonishment, but I never thought I'd witness the death of that dragon. Volumes written on Durnevere allege that he can't be slain by normal means. It appears they were mistaken. Yes. The soul of a dragon is as resilient as its owner's scaly. It's possible that your killing blow has merely displaced Durnevere's physical form while he reconstitutes himself. Minutes, hours, years, I can't even begin to guess. I suggest we don't look around and find Perfect. Now, let's get you the Elder Scroll, and you can be on your way. What do you want?
Come on, she's leading
This
us
way.
to the scroll. I can't believe we found my mother.
Now that you've retreated to the Elder Scroll, you should be on your way. If there's anything I can do before we depart, so my daughter applied some of the lessons I taught her about necromancy, did she? Don't worry. I think I can help you. Your soul essence was trapped inside a gem. When you and Serana entered the soul gate, it was given to the Ideal Masters as payment. You simply need to retrieve the gem. The moment you touch it, your soul essence will be restored. There's an offering altar not terribly far from here. I'm willing to bet that the gem you're looking for is there. Is there anything else? Could be your last chance. I have no choice. As I told you before, I'm a daughter of Cold Harbor. If I return to Tamriel, that increases Harkon's likelihood of bringing the tyranny of the sun to fruition. I appreciate your concern for me, but Serana is all that I care about. You must keep her safe at all costs. Remember that Harkon is not to be trusted. No matter what he promises, he'll deceive you in order to get what he wants. And promise me you'll keep my daughter safe. She's the only thing of value I have. Did you have anything to ask before? Even if I could, it would only serve to hinder your efforts. Harkon would likely sense my return to Tamriel. The last thing you need right now is like Serana, I am a daughter of Cold Harbor, a vampire offspring of Molik Bal. My presence in Tamriel would simply double the risk. The only way I'd even consider returning to Tamriel was if Harkon were not only to fall, but to be destroyed. You must understand, he's no longer the man I married all that time ago. He's obsessed, insane. For all of this to end, he must die. Farewell. Remember that Harkon's not to be trusted.
Stay your weapons. I would speak with you, Quinarin. Cursed, not dead. Doomed to exist in this form for eternity. Trapped between Laas and Enoch. Between life and death. I believe in civility among seasoned warriors, and I find your ear worthy of my words. My claws have rendered the flesh of innumerable foes, but I have never once been felled on the field of battle. I therefore name you Quinarin, or Vanquisher in your tongue. Your words do me great honor. My desire to speak with you was born from the result of our battle, Guanarin. I merely wish to respectfully ask a favor of you. For countless years I've roamed the Soul Cairn in unintended service to the Ideal Masters. Before this, I roamed the skies above Tamriel. I desire to return there. I fear that my time here has taken its toll upon me. I share a bond with this dreaded place. If I ventured far from the Soul Cairn, my strength would begin to wane until I was no more. I will place my name with you and grant you the right to call my name from Tamriel. Do me this simple honor, and I will fight at your side as your Graze-Mazen, your ally, and teach you my Thum. Trivial in your mind, perhaps. For me, it would mean a great deal. I don't require an answer, Guanarin. Simply speak my name to the heavens when you feel the time is right. In my language, the Guanarin is the vanquisher, the one who has bested a fellow Dova in battle. You are the Dova King, the Dragonborn. You may not be one of us in body, but you have earned the right to bear this title. There was a time when I called Tamriel my home, but those days have long since passed. The Dova roamed the skies, vying for their small slices of territory that resulted in immense and ultimately fatal battles. I was, but unlike some of my brethren, I sought solutions outside the norm. I began to explore what the Dova call Elok Dilan, the ancient forbidden art that you call Necrom. The Ideal Masters assured me that my powers would be. In return, I was to serve them as a keeper until the death of the one who calls herself Valerica. I discovered too late that the Ideal Masters favor deception over honor, and had no intention of releasing me from... They had control of my mind, but fortunately... Free? No. I have been here too long, Guanarin. The Soul Cairn has become a part of what I am. I can never fully call Tamriel my home again, or I would surely perish. I only hope that you will allow me the precious moments of time there, through your call.
Come on, let's go home.
Speak if you have aught to say worth the listening.
Please, end this misery. Stay away from the Oblivion Gate, I told them. Did they listen? Of course not. Are you alive? I must be imagining this.
Yes? I can't say it's surprising. I just didn't know when. If. I've been trying to... Come on. We can talk about this another time. This must be that beautiful Skyrim weather I've always heard about. so bright.
Enchanting services are one of the few things that keep us in touch. The local Nords may not like us very much, but they don't seem to mind. Savos doesn't care for politics. If he could, Savos would float the entire... Sure is. I've got another client. Wants me to do some enchanting. All right, be quick. Here's the name and location of the client. Until next time.
I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear? And what do you plan to do with it? Do you even know what you're asking about? Or are you just someone... You think that even if I did have one here, it would be kept under the highest security? The greatest thief in the world wouldn't be able to lay a finger on it. I don't know who told you that, but I'll do what I can. What we do have are plenty of books. I'll bring everything we have on them, but it's not much. So don't get your hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture. I have a few things laying around that weren't worth adding to the collection. You may look through them. As a matter of fact, there are. Have you ever heard of Shalador? Immensely powerful mage, back in the First Era. Had an understanding of magic few have ever matched. He holed himself up in Labyrinthian and devoted all his time to research and study. Since then, his writings have been scattered all over Skyrim, but are little use to anyone who can't translate them. I'm one of the few who can. I've heard whispers of more of his work having turned up. If you can track it down, it may prove useful to all of us. Hundreds of years have gone into assembling this collection. It's going to stay pristine. And what do you plan to do with it? I knew it. An Elder Scroll to read an... Even so, the Divines usually take the reader's sight as a price. The simplest way to put it's a each reader, but at the same time, all of it would take a month to explain. The scrolls... Sorry. You think that even if I did have one, it would be kept under the highest security? The greatest... What about... Wait. Are you? Were you the one the Greybeards were calling? I'll bring everything we have on them, but it's not much. So don't get your hopes up. It's mostly lies, leavened with rumor and conjecture. You need a book? You talk to me. Otherwise you're going to find yourself in a lot of pain. Here you go. Try not to spill anything on them. Until next time.
Restoration is a perfectly valid school of magic.
I don't care if you
Don't
wrote
let
it
anyone
yourself.
tell you otherwise.
Aye, that's the work of Septimus Cygnus. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls, but, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long. Somewhere up north, in the ice fields. He said he found some old Dwemer artifact, but well, that was years ago. Haven't heard from him since. I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear?
Much knowledge lies within the college's walls.
when the top level was built, no more could be placed. Elder Scrolls, indeed. The Empire, they absconded with them. Or so they think. The what? I know, but I cannot go to it, not poor Septimus, for I have arisen beyond its grasp. Here. Well, here as in this plain, Mundus, Tamriel, nearby, relatively speaking. On the cosmological scale, well, it's all nearby. One block lifts the other. Septimus will give what you want, but you must bring him something in return. You see this masterwork of the Dwemer, deep inside their greatest knowings. Septimus is clever among men, but he is but an idiot child compared to the dullest of the Dwemer. Lucky then they left behind their own way of reading the Elder Scrolls. In the have you heard of Black Reach? Cut under deep, below the dark, the hidden key of Tand, the point of delve to its limits, but not all can enter there. Two things I have for you, two shapes, one edged, one the round one for tuning. Dwemer music is soft and subtle, and needed to open their cleverest gate. The edged lexicon for inscribing. Find Mazark and its sky dome. Trust Septimus. He knows you can know.